Shalom Aleichem. We are the final concluding class of the 8 days, which is going to be soon changed to a blessed life, a journey to a blessed life. The eighth Dayah, it's going to be called the eighth principle, and it's called Shalom Uvracha. Okay, you might notice the difference in this and all the other ones is that all the other ones had an English title, and they had also a Hebrew title. This one just has a Hebrew title, Shalom Uvracha, which translates as peace and blessings or peace and blessing. Um, and more than a principle or more than a day or whatever you want to call it, this is this is where we're trying to this is what we're trying to get to. This is what the 8 days are trying to lead us to. This is the destination. And this is the destination of our humanity, and it is the beginning of the journey of our Yiddishkeit. I can't stress that enough. This is the destination of your humanity, and it is the beginning of your journey of being Jewish. This is just taken for granted. Chazal just took for granted that you've done the 8 days course. They just took it for granted. They took that for granted. And in those days it was taken for granted. We were this was just part and parcel of a lot of our lives, and we hadn't been as confused and convoluted as we are now. So when we were trying to be Jewish, we were trying to be Jewish. Now it's now we've got all kinds of funny stuff got mixed in. So the definition of Shalom Uvracha, which I worked on for hours, literally for hours. A profound state of inner peace where personality, behavior, and reality align seamlessly, creating the foundation for authentic avodas Hashem. It makes me want to cry to read that. So much time into that. I'll read it again. A profound state of inner peace where personality, behavior, and reality align seamlessly, creating the foundation for authentic avodas Hashem. The eighth
Wow.
day of Shalom Uvracha it's an internal matzav. It's where what you do, and how it is are all mamash. One line. Imagine that. You, what you do, and how it is, meaning how it is, how reality is. It's all synced up. That is just just to think about that is absolutely inspiring. A profound state of inner peace where personality, behavior, and reality align seamlessly, creating the foundation for authentic avodas Hashem. Reverse definition. NA. There's no there's no reverse definition. Everything else, you could just write there everything else. There's no this is there is no opposite to this. There is no opposite to shalom. There could be everything. If it isn't shalom, it's opposite to shalom. Everything. You want to call it anxiety, you want to call it depression, you want to call it hakpada, jealousy, well, whatever. If you're in a situation, if you're in some other kind of something else that isn't shalom, and we'll talk about what that really means, yeah, that's the opposite. So NA, not applicable. There is no reverse definition. Okay, affirmation one. I am complete enough to transcend my individual sense of self and take responsibility for the greater whole. This is where this is the culmination. This is now these three statements are the three statements of our Yiddishkeit, because from Shalom Avrocha, that is the launching pad into true avodas Hashem. where all of our humanity has been taken care of and accounted for. Now it's time to start being Oved Hashem. So affirmation one, I am complete enough to transcend my individual sense of self and take responsibility for the greater whole. The only way that a person can transcend his individual sense of self is when he feels complete. And complete doesn't mean that you've done it all. Yeah, it doesn't mean that at all. It means that you're where you are, you feel that that's right. Do you want to improve? Yeah, I want to improve. But right now I'm where I am. And that's what where I am right now is fine. Where I am right now is where I'm meant to be right now. Do I aspire to move forward and go higher and get bigger, etc.? Yeah, but not in a selfish kind of needy way, but in a kind of expression of my wholeness. An expression of my completion requires more completion. Not that I'm intrinsically lacking. It's because I'm complete that I want to go, that I'm ready for more. You with me? It's like a guy who wants to teach because he's bursting with information, or a guy who wants to help because he's bursting with, like imagine having, millions of dollars, yeah, and there's no one to give it to. Like that would be the feeling. It's like it's because I'm so complete, I want to go more. I want to do more. Not that I don't feel enough, so I want to do more. You with me? You got that?
Yeah, I'm struggling a little bit with it. I'm trying to, because usually when something is complete, they feel satisfied, as opposed to somebody who does not complete, they want more. So I'm just trying to rectify the two. I'm just having a hard
Think
time.
of it like this. Before Hashem created the world, was he complete?
Yes.
Well, why did he want more then? Why did he want the world?
Mhm.
It was an expression of his completion. It was an expression of his wholesomeness, of his perfection. It needs to be shared. I'm so perfect. Great. Now what? That's what we're saying. That's what this is about. I'm perfect. Now what? So what you're perfect. Who cares? Big deal. Great. You're just gonna sit there and watch movies now. Now it's time to give of my perfection, but not because I'm lacking. It's the exact opposite. It's because I'm so complete that I need to give. So that's what it says. I am complete enough to transcend my individual sense of self and take responsibility for the greater whole. Affirmation two. The selflessness produced by my deep inner wholeness serves as a channel for divine blessings to flow into the world. It's like the other side of the coin here. The selflessness produced by my deep inner wholeness serves as a channel for divine blessings to flow into the world. That's what's that's when you're selfless, when you've come to this, when you and yourself are complete. Now it's how can I add how can I give of my completion to others? Yeah. It's like the tzinor, the tube, the pipe has had all the schmutz blown out. Yeah. And now you can just you're just a conduit for brocha, for brocha to pour into the world. The Rebbeinu Shalom can now pour through you into the world. It's called being a tzaddik. Okay, number three, I am ready to serve my Creator, not for the sake of receiving reward. Third affirmation, I am ready to serve my Creator, not for the sake of receiving reward. Because reward is about me being lacking. I need something more. I don't need anything. I'm now needless. I'm not needy anymore. I can relate now. When you stop being needy, you know what you really become? Needed.
Godly? Oh, needy.
Needed. When you're not needy, you're needed. When you're needy, you're not needed. You're a burden. You're a burden. But when you're no longer needy, that doesn't mean you don't eat and you don't sleep and you don't need to go on holiday and do the funny things you need to do. But you don't feel, you look at the fact that you need to eat not as a need, but as a handicap. It's a different thing. It's not my need. I was created with a need to eat. That's not my need. I need to eat, but I don't really need to eat. If it was up to me, I wouldn't have to eat at all. So it's not my need. So I'm not needy. That need needs to be fulfilled. Yeah. Otherwise, I won't be able to operate. But it's not my need. This is what this is all about, is rising out of this level. We'll explain how it works, how it worked, because it's very sensible. It makes a lot of sense. I'm ready to serve my creator not for the sake of receiving reward. Okay, so we'll just go over quickly. Definition of Shalom Avocha. A profound state of inner peace where personality, behavior, and reality align seamlessly, creating the foundation for authentic avodas Hashem. Reverse definition, not applicable.
Well, can you explain the not applicable? What is that? What's going on there?
I'm trying to say that shalom doesn't really have an opposite, meaning if it isn't shalom, it's the opposite. The opposite of shalom is not anxiety. The opposite of shalom is not depression. The opposite of shalom is not pizza hanefesh. The anything that isn't shalom, which is everything else, that is its opposite. So if I was to have to put in the reverse definition, I would just say what isn't shalom. So what's the point of saying that? Or I'd have to enumerate every other possible situation there is.
But most of the other dayas the principles that you've done, you said the definition, and then you kind of reversed it. So you did that already or before. Why is this different?
Because shalom
Understand.
is is the description of wholeness, of being completely whole. So I could say, not feeling whole or not being whole or being needy, but I'm trying to like make a point here is that there's no other option. This is what it's about. NA means there's no reverse definition, is there's nothing, this is it. This is what it's about. This is what we're trying to, this is where we need to get to. Because before we get to this place, our avodas Hashem is not avodas Hashem. Avodas Hashem has to be coming from a needless place. I am ready to serve my Creator not for the sake of receiving reward. So why are you serving Him?
For his sake.
Well, that's just who I am. I'm Jewish. I was created to serve. What? Well, why are you doing that? It's like, why do you want to live? I don't know. That's
That's
just what I
that's what I'm
am.
here to do.
Yes, who I
Yes.
am. So why do you want to serve? Oh, I want meaning in my life. I want to feel close to God. Yeah, I want to have a father. I want that father figure that I never had growing up. Yeah, or I want to feel righteous. I want to become the best I can become. I want to be. All of that stuff is not why we're serving God. They might be benefits. They might be fringe benefits that come from service of Hashem. That's not why we're serving Hashem. So that's what I was trying to get at with the not applicable is that there's no other option. This is where we're trying to get to, where you are so shalom that when you come in front of another person, you're just looking at them and you're just like, how can I help you? How can I add value to your life? Bezrat Hashem.
Um,
Imagine that. Imagine meeting that person where he's just I'm here for you. How can I help? Imagine if you could be that person to your wife. Wow. Imagine that.
It's a nice idea. Yeah, nice idea. No, nice idea. Like I was just at a couple weddings the past 2 nights. Sunday night I was at a wedding. Monday night I was at a wedding. People are coming, going, coming, going. It's like helping you, helping you, helping you, helping you. Like it's just it's. I gotta go here. It's too much. Maybe you're.
It's not. It's a mindset. It's not. It doesn't get more complicated because there's him and her and this and that and da, 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 da. It's just I'm here to help. It's not about you and you and you and it's me. I'm here to help. I'm for you. I'm for you. So whatever happens, it's just, it's like, Lahavdil, like an angry man. Yeah, he's just always angry. Wherever you're with, you have to be careful whenever whoever he talks to is angry. It's not like, it's just because it's him. That's who he is. That's what it's like the sun shines. It's like that person who's Shalom, who's who's in this matzah of Shalom Uvracha. That's just who he is. And that doesn't mean he can't ask something from someone if he needs something like on a on a logistical level sometimes. But that's not who he is. He's there for you, which really means, if you want to plug it into everything we've been learning for the past couple of years, is it really means that he's ascended his pleasure, because that's really the only need there is. But that's for a different class. Okay, so the three affirmations quickly are: I am complete enough to transcend my individual sense of self and take responsibility for the greater whole. This inner reality is only available to somebody who has completed the 7 days before this, somebody who's mastered the 7 days before this. You can't just decide to be Shalom Uvracha. You can't just decide that. You have to commit yourself to living life. Then you have to perfect your Ben Adam La'atzmo. You have to start taking yourself less seriously and more seriously at the same time. You have to trust yourself. Then you have to recognize the existence of other people. Then you have to build trust with them and have deep relationships with other people. And then at that point, now it will just happen. That's just what you've become now. It's not like a decision to be this. The decision to be this is the 7 decisions before this. Okay. So I'm complete enough to transcend my individual sense of self and take responsibility for the greater whole. The selflessness produced by my deep inner wholeness serves as a channel for divine blessings to flow into the world. I am ready to serve my Creator, not for the sake of receiving reward. Okay. So we've actually said a lot of what we wanted to say already.
Wow.
What?
Sorry. No,
You're on mute.
forget it. Sorry. Nothing.
Okay. Um, so yeah, we basically explained that the Shalom Uvracha is the fruit.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow, that's a trip.
I hear the same thing. That's so funny. I hear the helicopters. I don't see them like
Well, that's
that,
in
but
the
I hear them.
fire.
Yeah, the fires. That's insane.
Wow. They need
Yeah, it's shaking the
Superman.
house.
You remember the first scene from Superman with the frozen lake? Do you remember that?
No.
Yes.
He blows over the lake, he freezes the lake, then he picks up the lake and the frozen surface of the lake. That's what they need.
Wow.
That chick chack. Oh yeah, everyone should be safe as well to Hashem. And the collateral damage should be minimal. Yeah, so like we said, it's not a choice unto itself. This isn't really a choice. This is the fruit of the seven days before this. This is the fruit. Okay, so peace translates as sorry, shalom translates as peace, but peace doesn't really mean much. Peace, you could say, is Canada is in a state of peace right now, whereas the Ukraine is in a state of war right now. Peace is, you can understand peace as just being a lack of war. That's not what we're talking about. We really got three kind of definitions of peace in this how we're talking. Alignment and harmony, that's one level of peace. Wholeness and completion, that's why shalom also means shalem, which means complete. And unity, a kind of a unification. Okay, the progression that we've been on, if you remember until now, the 7 Dayahs before, or the 7 principles before that we've tried to incorporate, is live life, be humble, know your mission, do what matters, recognize the other, same team mindset. I changed the name of this one. Listen silently, speak clearly, and then Shalom Uvracha. So I've written down how it works. Yeah. So live life is you go from non-existence to existence. You start to live life. Before live life, there is no you. The person who's not living life, who's not taken proactive control of his life and decided that he is able to act as opposed to just react, he's not even there. He's just a graphic. He's just a computer graphic. Okay, so that's really the idea of deciding to play the game. Once you've taken on that you're going to play the game, now you have to be humble, because playing the game means that you need to change. And change is only available to somebody who's humble. An arrogant person isn't available to change. Why would I want to change? I'm bound. My borders are I'm defined as it is. Not I'm whole. The opposite is I'm defined. I'm so defined that, well, how can I change that? That's called arrogance. So once the person's decided to play the game, yeah, that's live life. Now you have to be humble, because you need to change. But now you're humble. Now what do you need to change? What do you need to change? Yeah, that's called know your mission. That's where we're aiming for. Once you've worked out what it is that you're here to do, yeah, now the question is, well, how do I do that? That's do what matters. Don't get caught up in the thick of thin things. Yeah, do what matters. Stay aligned. So that unit creates a whole, a cohesive whole of a perfection of Bein Adam La'atzmai, between man and himself. You decided to live life. You have acquired or began to acquire the trait that makes that possible, or makes now the change possible. You've determined what you want to change to, and you've now put into action the necessary the way you're going to do that, the necessary implementation of that plan that you've decided. So that's called the perfection of Bein Adam La'atzmai, between man and himself. Now, the next stage is Bein Adam L'Chaveroi, between man and his fellow. So once you're in this good place where you're now, so to speak, master of your own destiny, so to speak, now the first thing is recognize the other. Now we have to start working on the fact that other people actually exist. And like we've said over and over, don't take that for granted, because that is not a simple thing, to appreciate that other people have their own existence and they're not just a facet in my life, not just a detail in my life. So once we've done that, which is the foundation for all human relationships, is now we appreciate that other people exist. Now we need the same team mindset, because not only do I appreciate that you exist, I appreciate that we're on the same team. because I can appreciate that you exist and now I need to compete against you and fight against you. No, I now appreciate that we are on the same team. All of us are on the same team together. And every person that I meet, I'm going to, this is trying to kill me, I'm going to interact with him or her on that level, especially my closest, the people who are closest to me, like your wife. Imagine not having a same team mindset with your wife. Imagine having a competitive reality with your wife, with your children. That would be terrible, absolutely terrible. So now we've got the same team mindset, yeah, which means I've got my perspective right on how I should be dealing with other people. Now it's the practical application of that, which is listen silently, speak clearly. So now that I appreciate you, that you exist, and that I've got it in my mind that we're on the same team and we're in this together. Now, how do I express that and do that? Well, I'm going to make myself vulnerable to you and I'm going to try and influence you. I will allow you to influence me. That's called silent listening. And I will influence you. That's called speaking clearly. Now, that's the completion of man. You've perfected yourself and now you've perfected your relationship with everyone else. The fruit of that now is Shalom Uvracha. Now you've integrated it into who you are, and you are an Ish Shalem. You are a whole person. That's Givaldic. So it's really the you could say it in other words, yeah? You could say it like this. Before you've begun live life, you're in a state of dependency. You're dependent. You're dependent on you're emotionally dependent, meaning it depends how you are to me. That's going to dictate how I feel. If you're nice to me, I'll feel good. If you're horrible to me, I won't feel good. Yeah, that's called emotional dependence. Then there's like decision-making dependence. Yeah, I can't make my own decisions. That's a level of dependence as well. And then there's the blame victim mindset, the blame victim mentality, meaning I'm dependent on what happens. That's called, all of that is dependent. Yeah, so you can describe the state of having not begun this process as being called dependent. Yeah. So now you've begun to live life, be humble, um, um, know your mission, and do what matters. Now you've become independent. You're independent. You're a self-contained happy camper. It's not up to you now how I feel. I'm not. I can make my own decisions. Yeah, and I'm not a victim anymore. Whatever happens to me in the world, I will respond in a fitting way. I will determine my own response. B'ezrat Hashem, like we've said many times, it's not about what he throws at you. It's about how you catch it. That's called independent. And that's an amazing achievement. That's an amazing achievement. But independent doesn't mean that you're able to have relationships with other people. Relationships with other people takes interdependence, which is a madrega, a level beyond independence, where it's not I can do it myself, it's I need you and you need me. I can't complete what I need to complete without you. That's a higher level where I make myself vulnerable to you. Yeah. And that leads to this place where you end up actually with a relationship with other people and you synergize, meaning that, as Stephen Covey said it, 1+1 = 3. That's when you've reached the pinnacle of interdependence. 1+1 = 3, meaning that it's about us together doing more than what either of us could have done individually. Yeah. So what's the level after interdependence? Shalom Eliezer. You've got dependence, you've got independence, Then you've got interdependence. And what's the final level? Transcendence. Call it yichud. Transcendence. Transcendence where now it's not about me. It's not even about us. It's about him. Now everything starts taking place in context of him, Yisborach. Even my relationships that are ends unto themselves, like I'm relating to my wife as an utter end unto herself. I'm relating to my children as an end unto themselves, yeah? But really, in a sense, I'm not going to say I'm leading a double life because it's the opposite. You're leading an absolutely singular life. But everything takes place in context of reality of God. Everything. So we go from dependence to independence to interdependence to transcendence. So you could say it like this. It goes from you, that's dependent, I'm dependent on you, to I, that's independent, to we, that's interdependent, to he, Yisborach. That's transcendent. And that's what Manis refers to as 1 + 1 = 1. My human Rebbe, who was Stephen Covey, he said 1 + 1 = 3. My Rebbe said 1 + 1 = 1. They're both right. Stephen Covey was right from the perspective of humanity, and Rav Manis is right from the perspective of reality mamash. 1 + 1 = 1. Meaning my whole life has become unified. That's the inyan of Shalom Uvracha. That my whole life is absolutely one. What are you doing right now? I'm serving God. What are you doing right now? Serving God. And now? Serving God. Oh, it looks like this here, it looks like that there, it looks like this there. But that's Shalom Uvracha. That's the state of Shalom Uvracha. And we didn't really go through the other ones, but that's it. This is. I'm just gonna give a so one other thing we need to speak about. So I mean, we've spoken about this many times, but the idea of we're all looking at a screen right now, yeah, and we know that the screen is made of a couple of million pixels, little points of light. So the person who's shown once this mindset of it's about him really means that I now understand that I am a detail in his reality, meaning I'm a pixel. I'm not the screen. He's the screen. I'm a pixel. And I make up a piece of this wondrous cosmic dance, whatever you want to call it, ensemble. But that's mean I've found my place in the greater scheme of things, and I am content with the fact that knowing that this is not about me. I am here to help. You realize that that's what really, when we said that when your mindset becomes, how can I help? Really what you're saying is, I've gotten over the illusion of thinking that this whole game is about me. That's really what we're saying. I'm no longer delusional. I'm not deluded anymore by thinking that this whole thing called reality is about me. I'm a piece in the puzzle. I'm an indispensable piece in the puzzle. And that for Keret, that gives me more responsibility. That makes it even more important that I serve properly. Because if I'm not serving properly, the whole machine, the whole cosmic machine kind of grinds to a halt in a sense. And this is the final Mishnah in all of Shas. The final words in Shas are, it's in Uksin, yeah? Uksin, in the final Mishnah of Uksin, Perek Gimel, Mishnah Yud Beis. Omer Rabbi Shimon ben Chalafta, Loi matzah Kodesh Baruch Hu, Kli machzik bracha Yisrael ela hashalom. Hashem did not find a vessel to hold bracha for Yisrael other than shalom. Ela hashalom. I wanted to say, why is it hashalom? Why not just ela shalom? Ela hashalom. Why? Because the hey makes it individual, meaning it's your shalom and it's his shalom and it's his shalom. That's what allows the Ribono Shel Olam to bring his bracha to the world. And that's exactly what he wants to do. That's exactly what he wants to do. And therefore we can say, everyone's heard of the idea of Dira B'Tachtonim, yeah? You know, we could also, Dira B'Tachtonim can be called another thing. It's also called Shalom Bias. Shalom Bias, which basically means Hashem and his creation completely synced with each other. And this is what we're talking about. How do we do that? Start with yourself. Start by living life. Then you have to be humble. V'chule, v'chule. Yeah, that's the hashalom. That's me becoming shalom. And that's the opposite of the second paragraph of Shema, when he says, don't go after Elohim Acherim. Because if you go after Elohim Acherim, then I'm going to stop the rains and the cattle are going to be, and the brocha's going to stop. Elohim Acherim means you're aligned with something other than reality. And we'll go back and we'll finish on this. This is the whole point, is a profound state of inner peace where personality, behavior, and reality align seamlessly, creating the foundation for authentic avodas Hashem. And then by derech of that, Bezrat Hashem, the Ribono Shel Olam will be zocher to pour into his world. And now we can just get on with serving God, get on with doing the mitzvahs. And then you'll be able to answer the question with your hand on your heart when someone says to you, like, a secular Jew comes up to you, yeah, and you're tefillin and says, like, why are you wearing tefillin? You look at him, you'll be like, are you mad? How can you not be wearing tefillin? This is who I am. This is just who I am. Imagine what effect that would leave on somebody if a person was just so aligned with reality that it's just like, as natural as the wildebeest, lahavdil, as natural as the wildebeest in Africa, they just turn around and start walking. You're involved in Torah and mitzvahs. Yeah, that's the perfection of the world. That's the perfection of yourself, and that is the perfection of the whole world. And this is the foundation, Bezrat Hashem, for our divine service. And the Ribono Shel Olam should be zocher that we should be zocher to incorporate all of these dayas, to become them, and we should be zocher, Bezrat Hashem, giving you Yitzir, I'm giving us a bracha together, because we've taken this on as a project to get this out there into the world, and that we should be zocher, or the Hashem should be zocher, that these ideas should get out there into the Jewish world, and people should be zocher to find reality in Bein Adam La'atzmai, then Bein Adam L'Chaveiroi, and then they're in prime position for Bein Adam L'Makom, Bezrat Hashem.
Amen.
Amen.
Shkoyach.